As we're gradually moving back to opening schools and businesses and, of course, our in-person interactions, I want to remind you, this is all time with cold and flu season getting going. Staying hydrated is key to helping your body deal with the added stress and with the upcoming flu season. My regular fans have heard me talk about a product called Hydrolite for a long time now. It's an amazing rapid rehydration drink. It's a mix that, well, we're obsessed with here. I'm excited to announce they've just released Hydrolite Plus Immunity just in time for cold and flu season. Hydrolite Plus Immunity starts with their fast absorbing electrolytes and adds a host of immune boosting ingredients. Each single serve, easy pour drink mix contains 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C and 300 milligrams of elderberry extract, creates what is hopefully immune boosting formula that's high in antioxidants and zinc. Combining this with Hydrolite's 7 key electrolytes, it's a fantastic way to stay proactive and properly hydrated. Hydrolite Plus Immunity comes in convenient, easy to pour powder sticks that rapidly dissolve in water and make a great tasting drink that has 75% less sugar than your typical sports drink. It uses all natural flavors and it is gluten-free, dairy-free, caffeine-free, non-GMO, and it is vegan. And you can find Hydrolite Plus by visiting hydrolite.com/Dr. Drew. Again, that's HYDRALYTE.com/DRDRW. And be sure to use our code Dr. Drew 25 at checkout for a special discount.
Oh, and by the way, Hydrolite works. Hey, everyone, it's a dose of Dr. Drew.
Hey, welcome, guys. I see you on the stream here. Andrew Ashkashvili is telling us that the cycle thresholds are being lowered in some states.
How's Drew's sound, everybody?
Yeah, let me know if there's any sound notes. Susan wants those notes quick because we had Caleb running the show yesterday, and then Susan comes in. It's usually a little off. Governors are calling for schools to be open. Are things changing? Fauci says we are at a plateau. I say we are all falling. I agree with Andrew. It seems to be, it's hard to know for sure if we're going to continue falling. The question, because it looks like the hospitalizations are falling, the death rates, everything's falling all at once. Even in California, it's falling. Even in LA County, it's falling. So it appears that, like with every outbreak, the ecology or the sort of epidemiology of it runs its course, and there's not a lot we can do to change what it does. We can sort of slow it down, but we can't really change it.
Make sure you let everybody know we're taking calls today. Do you have your call-in studio
up? I do not have my call-in studio up. I'll put that up right now.
Call in 984-2 Dr. Drew.
I will be taking calls if you have questions because my guest is going to be in just a moment. Sex with Emily. Emily from Sex with Emily. Morris from Sex with Emily. And there's my callers thing. There's the show, Emily. You can find her at sexwithemily.com. Very popular podcast there for many years.
We're talking about sex today.
Yeah, we're going to switch it up a little bit and talk with Emily about stuff. But I want to finish my COVID review for the day. LA is already down to 6,000. We're up more 14,000. Orange County is down to 1,300. They are around 4,000. I'm looking at the cases in the country. They were plateauing. They peaked at 3,000, and now we're down around 186,000, with hospitalization peaking at 129, now dropping to 122,000. That's not much of a drop, but it is in the right direction. And then California doing significantly better generally as well. Susan, you're sighing about something. What's up?
I don't know. Joshua Dylan Barzell said, "Are you sure you didn't get COVID during your butt exam?" That was a week before.
That was 2 weeks before.
No, it was a week before. It was a Wednesday before my birthday.
Okay. It's possible, but there were no outbreaks there.
But I
Nobody
didn't
known to be sick there. Yeah, and she didn't get it.
I would have gotten it.
Asymptomatic positive cases weren't really positive, and they were being used for political gain. We'll see. Andrew Ashkashvili is noting that everything is falling, and then if they reduce the threshold rate on the PCR testing, it should go down considerably further, I would guess.
So the heading of the show is alcohol, chocolate, and porn.
All right, that's our show. So let's go bring Emily Morris in here to talk about this.
Are you ready, Emily? Here we go. Woo, look at that.
Hey there. Welcome, Emily. Thank you for joining me. Good to see you. The last time I saw you was the last time I was healthy.
I know. You got sick like a week. I had nothing to do with it, everyone.
You had nothing to do with it. She had nothing to do with it.
No.
Blame it on Emily.
And that was the last time I felt like a human being.
I want everybody to see her pillow.
I see you every morning because I drink my Dr. Drew mug.
That's pretty funny. Now, that one people aren't used to seeing. That's for my birthday.
This is Drew's 60th birthday
mug.
mug.
Show me at 14. Come on. There you go.
You at 14.
Oh, so humiliating.
It was supposed to be on the bags too, but they screwed up. Ken screwed it up.
For some reason, it's like the perfect size. I get to hold Drew's face in my hand.
crazy.
Are you sure you didn't get it from Emily?
It seems not. I don't know if she's had a test lately, but
No, I've done 2 tests since I've seen you.
I had
Oh
a
my God, that was so
colonoscopy.
fun though. We went out to 2 places for dinner, remember?
Yes, we had a nice time.
That was the last time. I've had fun.
But we didn't catch it there. That was a week before. We tried. We did our best.
Somebody's asking about Amazon distributing the COVID vaccine. I'm hoping they will do that. They seem to be rolling out their pharmacy mission quickly. So I was wondering if that was part of what's behind that, if they're going to try to do some vaccine rollout. That would be awesome. That would be fantastic. If there would be any kind of cohesive anything on how to get the vaccine. I don't know what to tell patients.
I
from
can't
one day
get
to the
one
next.
for my 77-year-old
I know.
housekeeper.
I know.
You got one though, Susan, right? You got
No, not yet.
So Emily, let's just talk about love in COVID. What has changed?
You know, it's a great question, Drew. There's been a lot that has changed. I mean, I think that for couples who are in a healthy, you're talking about dating or love, couples who are in a good place and had healthy communication before COVID, specifically couples without children at home, seem to be thriving.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
And for those couples, they just have more time together. Perhaps they're not going to the office, So, I mean, they're not going to the office, so they're home
true.
and they've been able to, there's been some studies that have said that they've been experimenting more because, we have more time on our hands. Now, love with couples who weren't in a great place, and you can imagine, we say absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Mm-hmm.
There's no absence during COVID. So if you were already not able to communicate, your sex life wasn't in a good place, those couples aren't doing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So for single people, everyone's dating online now, Drew. I mean, I know that's been a trend for many years that we just see like the dating apps have been exploding. But what happened during quarantine is that people are dating more. They're digitizing everything about dating. They're doing video chats, they're sexting, probably prematurely sexting, but
So I keep hearing that these sort of Zoom dates are the thing, right? You swipe whatever direction and then you end up saying, all right, let's talk on Zoom. But there's a lot of Zoom talking before people actually get together in the flesh, right?
I like this, Drew. I think that this is such a good place to go rather than texting someone and saying, let's meet for a drink tonight. You meet in person and then you might have sex, hook up. Now people are getting to know one another. They're having those meaningful conversations. Do we have shared values? Are we into the same kind of things? Do we actually like each other? So me, that's a good thing. I hope that we see more of that.
So more assessment, more what used to be called, God forbid, courtship.
Courtship. It's courtship. I think that I want to bring courtship back. Because I think, I'm not one about like rules, like you shouldn't go out and have sex right away. People are going to do what they want to do. But if you put some barriers in place and they have to stop and think rather than just acting on their impulses with somebody, and then it goes off into a relationship where they don't know each other, I kind of like bringing courtship back. I'm down.
I want to respond to some of the stuff in the thread here real quick. Johanna.
Sorry about that.
Hey, so a pulmonologist is not a virologist or a immunologist. He's right that we don't know a lot about the antibody responses and what they mean, but there are people studying it very carefully and correlating it, and not just single antibody responses, but antibody responses to multiple viral proteins. So there's a lot going on in the research on the immunology that pulmonologists would not have been exposed to. So.
Do you see what Andrew said? Andrew Ashkavili.
He said, swingers from down the street haven't knocked on my door this year. Maybe COVID has changed them. What say Emily? Are swingers not reaching out for more COVID?
I don't know. On my show, I have people calling in and that they're swinging. And, I had a couple call in who said they were having a sixsome. 6 of them they were swinging.
Did everybody get COVID tested?
He didn't know.
And let's remind ourselves, I was COVID negative for 4 days into my illness. Now, it's curious to think whether or not I was transmissible or not, because I only transmitted to Jordan. Jordan got it, but nobody else got it, and I was around everybody.
And I was blowing him the day before Christmas, so,
And you slept right beside me.
I know.
Yeah. And
there's something to be said about doggy style.
Emily, go ahead. Are you high right now, Susan? Did you take something?
No, I'm just telling you my story.
Well, what did the New York say? They were telling people to wear masks and to avoid kissing for transmission. So, Susan, doggy style, to answer your question, to answer that point, that could be safer.
And he did get a BJ though. He just didn't spit on me, I guess.
So, but you guys got to understand the aerosols and the particles go 6 feet at least, maybe 10 or 12.
And
That's
you said
why
your penis would have been
transmissible.
Yes,
possibly when I was very high viral levels. That's possible.
but you didn't test positive the day you got the fever.
That's
either,
right.
So.
That's right. We don't really know what that means, whether or not that's transmissible or not.
How much is that blood type?
I have O positive. Susan has O negative. What do you have, Emily?
What about Jordan? I'm O.
I don't know what he is.
O.
They're all O because we're all O. We're both O, so they're all O.
I don't know, or an A. I don't know.
I wonder why Jordan. You guys are all in the same house.
I know, and Jordan's the only one that got it.
Drew sneezed on him.
No. You sure you didn't take something, Susan?
I think I bring it out in her.
I guess
We're talking about sex today. I'm just telling the truth.
I know that Susan was anxious to see your Bluetooth equipment, and if you don't send one here, I'm gonna have to find one. Evidently,
I've given you guys so much. Okay, you guys, this is what I was talking about. Is that everything is digitized right now? People are going online before meeting up. They're having discussions about values and consent and their health, things that I was hoping people were having talks about way before COVID about.
Right.
But they're also doing stuff like this. So WeVibe makes these products, these toys, these WeVibes, and you can control this with an app. So this is a panty vibe. This is it's called the Moxie. And what you do is they have an app called WeConnect.
I don't see that one here.
It has a video chat feature. And most of them, that's it.
There it is.
It's a black one, yeah. And so it has a video chat feature. So I would send you a link that says, want to chat now, lover? And then wherever you were in the world, you could be next to me in a restaurant and I could be wearing it. You could be in a country. And then you could chat with video and you could start controlling my toy, or we don't have to do video. We could just play a game where I'm sitting, at my desk one day and you could be wherever in another country.
Wait, I'm confused by the chat function. This is in physics, folks. They call this I'm gonna do a physics joke. They call this entanglement in physics, but effects at a distance. But I'm a little confused by the app, the chat. So it's an app that has a chat function with a control function on the chat screen or something
on your phone.
So so it's called WeConnect. You download the app for free, and then I send you a link. And I say, want to chat now, lover? You would open it, and at that time you could choose to do video or not. But you could also just launch the control panel that would allow you to control my toy. Now, once I give it to you, you could have it forever. So we could even say, surprise me in the middle of the day, or your wife. That would probably be better. In the middle of the day, and she's using a toy, and you could just control it from anywhere you are in the world.
And Susan, is that the one you want?
Sure, why not? I'd do that.
Butt plug. There's a butt plug. I put my toys.
That vibrates though, right?
Mm-hmm. Doesn't have to. Well, yeah, that's why the function allows you, because sometimes the buttons on the toys can be tricky. Mm-hmm. In the moment, you might not want to use. You can't find the button. You could just use your phone and use it on yourself, but this way your phone is dragging across the screen, and you're able to kind of just pick the vibration patterns.
Huh. Look at that.
I could show it to you.
It's crazy. All right. Panda Loco wants to know why Dr. Drew is promoting vibrators. We're just talking about them. You don't have to buy one.
They're all about your stuff.
Listen, women like them.
I have no financial interest in any of these products.
Drew doesn't use them. I'm a huge fan of the WeVibers. Emily
and Susan are longtime friends, and they were very anxious to have this conversation, and it's okay to have this conversation.
Well, we were talking about, we could go there. We're talking about sex and toys and COVID and how I think right now people are looking for a lot more pleasure in their lives. And that's what I'm all about. How do we get people to prioritize their pleasure when it's been a really rough year? And so what do we do to bring more of that into our life? Our brains often go towards the next thing on our list and checking things off and saying, like, I deserve pleasure. I deserve touch.
Well, the biggest complaint I hear is isolation, loneliness. It's just massive. So whatever they're doing, in terms of dating apps and Zooming and things, it doesn't seem like it's enough,
Well, it's not enough. And I think that people to their breaking point. I mean, it's really hard to be home and alone and isolated. I've been home for 9 months. I've barely seen people. I'm not in a relationship right now, and there is a lot of isolation. I mean, all different ages too. If you can't leave your house, it's really tough. And so I think that, we see people adopting more pets. People are, and it's just, I think in California, it's definitely worse, but I think that people have to just start being smart about it, because Zoom chats are not going to be enough. We need touch.
Yeah, and people are afraid to bring it into the real world. Do you have any sort of procedures you recommend to people that are trying to go from Zoom to do you get COVID testing? Do you ask people to get?
You have to talk about consent. You have to talk about safety. All the things I always say. You talk about STIs, and also talk, have I gotten my COVID test? And then I think you still want to be safe, but we also know the tests are not as accurate, right? They could be a negative and you could be positive. So I think
true.
And there's been a lot more people, some people, they're going both ways. Some people are saying, well, if we don't know what's going to happen right now, I'm just going to take risks. There's people who are not being truthful about their tests. They're saying that they haven't been out with other people, and they have been. But it's just, I think that I think it's best to be with a trusted partner right now. I don't think it's the time for casual sex.
And at the beginning, there was a big surge in divorces too, right? People that were on the verge. That seems to have plateaued now. I don't hear so much about that. Is that true?
I think that divorces are still, I think that we're still going to be hearing more and more about that. I don't think that we've even scratched the surface of the impact that we're going to see that COVID has had in people's life, specifically with mental health. And we also know that
that's profound. I mean, that's just out of control right now, especially teenagers. You have no idea.
It's really bad. And even in a relationship, if you started to experience anxiety and depression for the first time, and it's really going to wreak havoc on yourself, but also on your relationship. So I think that we're going to start seeing more and more separations and divorces. I know there have been more breakups in the last year than ever before. Not necessarily.
Interesting. And there's a lot of questions on the thread here about SSRIs. So if people do get depressed and get put on one of the serotonin reuptake inhibitors like Zoloft or Prozac or Lexapro, any of these things, they all have severe sexual side effects. They in any phase of libido, sexual functioning, detumescence, any stage of the sexual cycle can be altered by SSRIs, and so you have to hear that. And doctors are not spending time talking about that. So now that's on top of it.
Yeah, exactly.
How have your calls changed in the last 9 months?
I would say that the calls are, it's interesting. The people who call in, Drew, there are people calling in about really being lonely and wanting to go on dating apps. I have heard a lot of breakup calls. A lot of people are going through distress in relationships. A lot of people are going through communication issues. But Drew, as you can know on Loveline for 30 years, a lot of the questions are the same. We're in a global pandemic. I've lost my job. Things are really hard. And why can't I have an orgasm?
Those are in that order.
Well, I'm saying, a lot of the questions are the same, but when people get into what's going on in their lives, I think it's just been hard. I think it's been hard. Our relationships are strained. If you are worried about money, if you're worried about your job, that's going to have an impact on your sex life.
And how your partner perceives you too, potentially, because then it's how you feel about yourself and how it's just a mess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have a couple of calls, but they didn't pre-screen because I don't think it was turned on the thing.
Right,
so they're blind. Hopefully.
All right. So
behave yourself.
From Tennessee, we'll take the first caller.
Take number one.
Hi. What's we don't have your name though. So what's your name?
Kay.
Hi, Kay. What's going on?
You can call me Kay.
Okay.
I'm actually, you guys are kind of talking a little bit about cell phone usage, right?
I can talk about that. Whatever you like.
What?
I'd like to talk about the fact that I am in a test group for 5G. I've been calling my phone company. I'm not going to tell you who that is, but they seem to
what is
want to give me any information.
Do you have a question for us?
I'm experiencing physiological disorders, like hearing whispers and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, those are medical problems. You need to see a doctor for sure. Okay. And there's many things can cause those particular symptoms. Anything from a brain tumor down to a thought disorder to depression, all kinds of things. So you need to get a medical evaluation for sure. Thank you for that call. And this is, hi, Hi, we don't have your name.
Ben.
Hi, Ben. What's going on?
That guy, I think he was trying to talk about RF frequencies affecting our
if he is having,
brain.
Look, when a psychiatrist evaluates somebody who's having auditory hallucinations, 5G is not a consideration. Okay? There are so many other things that can do. So many other things can do that.
RF frequencies.
It's not a consideration because there are so many other things that need to be evaluated first and are common. So that needs an evaluation.
I was going to say, so I got COVID back in March.
Ouch.
In Thailand.
Ew.
And
Nice.
yeah, like right when this thing was really blowing up. And one thing that I noticed was like, the like anxiety, it really makes it hurt like 10 times as much at least.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't know, I was alone in my hotel room. I didn't know what to do. And I started to drink. And I just like getting a little buzz, and enough to reduce the anxiety. I felt a lot better.
It's funny. I've noticed alcohol makes me feel better too. And in a way it never has before. It's very weird.
Kind of counterintuitive, right?
It's really super weird. Listen, there's all kinds of brain changes. I'm looking up an article right now for you. Shoot, let me see if I can find it. There was an article out today reviewing. Let's see if I can find it. I'm going to read you the. Gosh darn it! I don't seem to have it. The headline is essentially about all the neurological changes from COVID, and it's a lot of psychosis, a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fogginess and ringing in the ears and all that nonsense that I'm getting.
Whispering in your ears.
Whispering in the ears. Yeah, that's a psychosis. That's now.
We should have asked the last guy.
That guy who called in, he was talking about radio, radio frequencies.
Right, I understand. Not on the differential when somebody comes in with auditory hallucinations. Not on the differential. There's plenty of other things that cause that. Trust me. Anthony Brown, if you're on the thing here, help me out, please. But I don't seem to have in any event. Oh, here it is. Forgetfulness. Here's the article. It's a Scientific American article. COVID causes forgetfulness, psychosis, mania, stutter. I've had a stutter a little bit from it too.
Yeah.
Very weird, where I can't find words and things, and I'll stutter as I'm trying to find words, and I never have a stutter normally. It's very weird. So yeah, anxiety and depression, all that stuff. This is all part of the COVID situation. In the 1918 flu, Dr. Menninger was probably the most famous psychiatrist of the 20th century. He believed that most of the psychosis he was seeing was from the 1918 flu. Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
So what about like if somebody lies to you a lot, like when you're growing up, if you have like a parent who has a fake identity, that sort of stuff, things in your subconscious mind that don't make sense.
Yeah, those are psychological issues that affect our personality development and our ability to regulate our affects. So there's different ways to think about this. I mean, obviously, if you can't trust somebody, it's very hard to form relationships. And if you can't form relationships, it's hard to develop a deep sense of self and other. It's hard to regulate emotions, and you need therapy for that kind of thing. Therapy does very, very well for that, but you need to take advantage of it. See, Emily, we didn't know we were going to get into that.
Yeah, that's why I love this. We never know where we're going to go.
We never know where we're going. That's right.
See what happens.
That's right. Let's see. But it is weird how the booze, alcohol has affected me different. What's that? Yeah.
So like your lifestyle has dramatically changed. Like you're someone who's really active. You work out every day. You eat certain foods, and then all of your regular routine had to change because you were in bed on your back for weeks. Like I know when I don't work out, my brain isn't as clear the mornings I don't work out.
This is something different. This is what I imagine traumatic brain injury feels like a really serious head injury. I have terrible ringing in my ear. If I try to do anything, I get short of breath. My head starts to feel full, like it's going to explode. I have trouble concentrating. I have trouble with word finding. If I have to, like after we talk here, I'm gonna have to go lie down. I have to lie down all the time.
Wow. That sounds like me every day.
And Susan says that.
No, I'm like, I don't remember words all the time. But these are brain child for all of us. He's the one.
I always need a nap, and
the ringing in the ears is very unpleasant. It's very disturbing. But I mean, I've never had a concussion, but I'm guessing that's what this feels like. And people are asking, Vince asked me, I'm working out again. I am starting to. I'm not really at my normal level, but I'm working out a little bit. But I have to be careful. If I overexert myself, I'm done for the day. That's it. I have to go to bed. I will not recover.
But he does feel better after sex, Emily.
Yeah. So Susan wants to get
better after sex.
So Susan wants to go back to that.
I mean, he's a lot happier after sex.
Sonia says, can I go out to eat and feel safe from catching COVID? You can go out to eat. You can use a UVC light like an eye wand. Then you can wear your mask and you can keep distancing. And you should be good, particularly in outdoor eating. You should be fine. There's no evidence of transmission. New York has reestablished outdoor dining. Only Los Angeles.
It's like only 20 below zero right now.
Yeah, I know. But I had an interesting conversation with Christina P. about this issue. So I do a show called After Dark.
Oh, it's airing today.
Christina Pazitsky, who is a comedian and very smart, and her husband is Tom Segura, and she was talking about his recovery from COVID, and she was saying until the Peter performed, she was really worried about him. and I thought, wow, that's a pretty good indicator with men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we're okay there, we're probably going to be okay.
The Peter.
Yeah.
Second brain, right? Don't they say that?
What's that?
You said your second brain. I mean, really, like the small head.
There's a lot of life force and energy that goes into that, and so if you're coming back,
it feels good. It stimulates your brain.
Blood flow, right? I mean, what's going on in your brain is going on in your
right.
And vice versa, I believe.
I mean, I've noticed it.
It's been okay though, right? Or no? Have you guys been able to resume your sexual functioning?
Hell yeah.
Not at the customary pace.
Not that you want to.
Not at the customary pace. I would like to. I'm feeling like I'm not. It feels like not my regular self. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, honey.
And maybe that's a good pace for Susan, evidently, because she doesn't notice
No,
it.
I was thinking we should have sex today. We haven't had it in a couple days, so. But I don't know. It's up to you. I'm not going to push you.
Let's see if there are any other.
I'm not that pushy.
Please push. As pushiness goes, that's really where we want to see you.
Bring love line.
All right, we have a lot of calls lining up here, so I'm going to try to get to some people here. This is from another Tennessee call. Hey, what's your name?
I know. I don't think it's.
I'm Doc Wong.
What is it?
It's Doc Wong.
Okay, what's going on?
Well, I've been having a lot of depression since COVID too. But it's been getting a lot worse since I've been out here with that 5G. That guy in kids.
My. We're no 5G calls. No 5G calls, right?
Oh my God.
So,
if it says Tennessee, let's pass.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Let's see about this call. Hi, what's your name?
Dr. Drew, John in Seattle.
Hi, John. What's going on?
Hey, congratulations on beating COVID.
Thank you.
First and foremost.
Thank you.
20 days, no booze for me. Many years wanting to do it. Finally did it.
Well done.
I haven't done anything yet. 20 days, no booze.
Okay, good.
I read a book by a woman named Annie Grace. It's called This Naked Life. I don't know if you've heard of it. Do you know about this?
No. I'm looking it up.
It came out in 2017, and it's like super high rated. I have no interest. I don't know her. I don't know anything about where she comes from, but it worked for me. And she's not anti-AA, but her philosophy is you get off booze, you go through the withdrawal, granted, if you're not in a very severe situation.
Yeah, sure. Keep going. I want to hear more.
Days, and then in the meantime, you inform yourself about all the realities of alcohol. And in her book, she kind of busts all the myths. So, I'm using it to relax. Well, no, this is what it's doing to your body. I use it when I have sex. No, it's actually making it worse.
Mm-hmm.
I use it to relieve anxiety. Well, no, here's why it's actually making anxiety worse.
Yeah.
And the philosophy is that when you, so you're not depriving yourself of booze. You're saying, I can drink if I want, but I'm choosing not to based on the knowledge I have of what this does to my body.
So we call that psychoeducation. And every treatment program always has a big component of psychoeducation because some people do respond to that. Some people respond to it. But what I can tell you, what I have found, is when most people use it as a reason not to do other things they need to do, like therapy and cognitive behavioral therapies and other things that would be very, very helpful.
My question to you real quick is, obviously everyone will tell you alcohol is bad. And there was some study that came out a few years ago saying that there's no safe limit of alcohol. I forget who did the study.
Well, the study essentially is when they look at the endpoint of heart attack or stroke, there is benefit. But when you look at longevity or mortality, there is only downside. Okay?
So I guess my question is, and this is coming from someone that's drank my entire adult life, but when you drink, are you just making this trade-off? I know I'm putting diluted poison in my body and I'm okay with it? Like, is that just what you do? Is that what I did for so long?
No, it's called denial. You don't pay any attention to it because it's working. You love it too much and it's working too well for you.
I guess, do you agree with that concept that there is no safe level, and how do you come to terms with that?
Well, you're in the stage right now where you're trying to make deals with yourself, and it's because you're not in a program where you need to stay sober that you're trying to figure this out on your own. This doesn't go well. I've seen many thousands of people try this. It doesn't go well. You're welcome to try, but it tends not to go that well. So you're in the deal making phase. You're like, well, how much can I actually drink safely? But if you go back at all, it will escalate back up again. The only safe amount for you particularly is 0. Or if you want to stop, or else you're going to go back where you were.
My question, I guess, is focused on this particular study that came out saying that there is no safe level. Do you agree with that?
I've just said it to you again. I'll say it again. The studies are clear. If you're looking at heart attack or stroke, there is benefit. But if you're looking at mortality, only down, only worsens and has bad mortality outcome. No, at any level of consumption. Okay? And particularly people that have different.
Appreciate your work.
You're bad. People, and particularly people with a certain genetic subset that can't control it or go out of control with it, those are the ones that really need to be careful. Emily, I'm going to introduce you to Anthony Brown. Anthony is a psych nurse that where'd he go? He's actually director of nursing at a psychiatric facility. Anthony, is that you?
Yes, it is. How's everybody doing?
Good. This is Emily Morris, Anthony Brown. Anthony was a homeless drug addict himself and is now the director of nursing for a large facility. Yes, Emily, yes. He's an amazing guy.
See?
Yes. Read his book. It is From Park Bench to Park Avenue.
Wow. Amazing, Anthony. So what do you think about
thank you.
Yeah. Our callers, some people can have a glass of wine every now and then, and some people it's,
Well, you heard that caller with the deal making and stuff. What do you think?
He's just making a deal. I mean, it's rough when you have an addiction and you don't know that you're addicted. That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
But I guess when you're tired or had enough negative consequences, something will change.
Well, how many negative consequences did it take for you?
It's like from the age of 14 to 37.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. It took a bit. Maybe 10,000 negative consequences. My favorite though. My favorite in your story is each time you were arrested, trying to figure out what's wrong, what's happening here. Why am I keep getting arrested? And tell them what you decided.
Well, the first time I decided that the reason why I got arrested because I kept the drugs in my pocket, and then I went back to the same location. And then the second time I decided I'd put the drugs in my sock, and I went back to the same location. And then the third time I decided I'd keep the drugs in my hand and throw it, but I got too high and forgot it was there, but I was at the same location and got busted anyway.
It's so good. It's so good. That's one of the reasons I love working with addicts, because it's funny. The addict brain the human brain under the influence of addiction is truly phenomenal. Yeah.
It's something else. But everything slowed down in the hospital, and I do kind of have a question for Emily because my brain is trying to wrap around that whole butt plug thing I seen.
Good luck with that. Okay, yeah.
Okay, because again, I went from homeless to having a life, and things are new. And I'm looking at this butt plug. It looks kind of like big, and I'm not going to try it myself even though I've been in prison. But I want to try to sneak it to try to sneak it in my girlfriend. Now, what's the best way to just, be humorous and go, hey, here's Johnny? Or just don't say anything. And just,
we're gonna call that little device the Shining from now on. But
with your wife, with your partner. It's about a conversation, and it's outside the bedroom. You don't want to surprise your partner with anything, especially a butt plug. You really want to talk about it. I mean, you want to explore first using a finger.
But Emily, hold on. Would it be too aggressive or sort of? Again, I'm having trouble with word finding. Aggressive isn't quite the word I mean, but to just show up. I have a present for you. Here it is. Are you interested?
That could be a turnoff for many people, and because definitely not in the bedroom. But you want to just talk about, like, Anthony. Do you ever talk to did you say it was your wife?
Girlfriend.
Oh no, not the wife. Not the wife. Okay, it's the girlfriend.
My advice is: do you ever say to her, "What are you into?" I feel like we haven't talked about our sex life. Would you be into any anal play? I think that would be hot, because most people, you don't start with a penis or a butt plug. You want to start with a finger. And you want to use lots of lube, and you want to go slow. And
but Emily, you're used to talking to people on radio and the pods about this stuff all the time. People have a tough time bringing this stuff up.
Yeah, and a lot of women are like, hell no. Well, you'll know. Don't buy it.
Yeah, I was going to say, hell no is fine, right? You don't want to push something on somebody they don't want.
Go from 0 to anal. You just have a conversation outside the bedroom. Just remember timing, tone, turf. You want to make sure that you're actually outside the bedroom. So you don't want to just bring it up in the bedroom when you're already in a heightened state. And the timing is when you guys are hanging out and you're in a good place and you're chilling. Maybe you're, having dinner or going for a walk somewhere it's not as awkward. You can go for, be in the car driving.
Well, and it's like everything else. Rather than, are you into this? Maybe more open-ended. Like, have you thought about things you like to do? Is there, more open-ended? Would that make more sense, Emily?
Yeah, what's the most memorable times we've had sex? Do you have any fantasies? Let's each write down 3 things on a bucket list and swap lists.
Emily goes all the way to the mat. I'm just saying, just start the conversation with.
Here's the start. Hey, I think it would be, I have fantasies about it. I would love to. Anthony, what is your fantasy with her? I think that if you've never talked to her about anal, and 99.9% of women email me or call me and say, why does my partner keep talking about anal? Because they don't understand that there's a lot of pleasure to them. And women, they're like, it's painful and it wasn't consensual if it happened to them in the past. So I'm saying it's best to start with a general, how's our sex life going?
Yeah.
What do you
there you go. Are we doing enough? Is there more stuff you want to do? Just.
So Emily, can you have sex when that thing's in your anus?
Yeah, sure.
And does it help the man?
If it's in his anus?
No, hers.
I don't know.
Or maybe his. I don't know. Drew, maybe you should try it.
We all have aces, we don't
Anthony, I'm going to let you off the hook on this one, man. Good to talk to you, buddy, okay?
Thanks,
all right, man.
I appreciate that.
All right, I'll see you. I'm going to go out to...
I just want to know, is it for just... does it constrict anything?
No.
It doesn't constrict anything, but you wouldn't want to put anything else in your anus if you have this in your butt.
Of course.
Right.
And I don't...
True. More profound words have never been uttered. This is from Santa Barbara. Hi there. What's going on?
Hey, Dr. Drew, it's Casey Gates.
Hey, man. What's going on, Casey?
How are you?
Good.
Hey, I have a question for Emily. Earlier we were actually talking about how people are starting to hook up on Zoom shows. And you guys know what I'm doing over on the local side, and it's funny how it's not just a dating thing. It's just a generalized, just people wanting to hang out.
Yes.
We're so isolated right now.
Yes.
I
noticed that too. Casey, I noticed that too. When I first went on one of your chats, I thought, wow, I feel better after just hanging out for 30 minutes. It was just satisfying to hang with people. Yeah.
It's nice to have friends that you chat with.
Yeah, you're right. You can't go out to restaurants. You can't go to bars. You can't meet people.
But they drink at their meeting. Everybody gets drunk.
They do?
Oh, yeah. I'm a bartender. Oh, yeah. Drew, Emily, I'm a bartender that's out of work. So what I did is I made a virtual bar. So I don't have to hand you alcohol in order to be your bartender.
Let me see. I get it.
Oh.
Wife, what do you do now? How do you just show people how to make drinks? What's the chats? What goes down in the chats? What goes down in the Zoom calls?
Well, actually, it's just bar rules. Bar rules. If you want me to show you how to make a drink, I can do that. But usually it's just sitting there. I sip on a Corona and we talk about coronavirus or whatever the heck we want to talk about. Again,
well, give a shout out if you want.
Goes.
Give a shout out if you want people to show up.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm over at drdrew.locals.com. I host the Zoom show. We call it the Zoom Party. It's bar rules. I start the thing at 5 o'clock. You show up whenever you want to. You take off whenever you want to. And like a bartender, I stay in the bar until the last person leaves.
Crazy.
So
and then he's part
I
of Dr.
about
Drew's
6,
crew.
7 hours.
He's in our Dr. Drew locals
Thanks, Casey.
group. Also, hey, Casey.
Whoop, he's on hold again. What do you want to ask?
Well, he can probably hear me unless he hung up.
No, he's still there.
His credit card was on my Zoom today.
Why?
Like I was going to buy I don't know. He made me an administrator or something, and somehow all his information was on my Zoom. So I want to I changed it, but now mine's probably on his Zoom. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So maybe give Casey a call.
I will.
This is from Tampa. What's going on?
Hello.
Hey there. What can we do for you?
Hi. I follow Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory on social media. They're always posting about utilizing high-powered computing and the power of machine learning and deep learning in medicine for assisting doctors.
Mm-hmm.
And they put out several posts about using this technology specifically for finding a good vaccine. And I was just kind of curious to know how you felt about this technology being used in the medical field.
I know that there's a lot of people working on it. I have no strong feeling about it, except to say that I don't believe AI will ever replace physicians. There is something about the experiential learning, that having seen things many times, that as a human body and brain gives you a sensibility that machines are nowhere near at this point. I may be wrong about that, but I see it still. It's so digital, and in fact, the process of medical assessment is analog, and so I just don't ever see it replacing. But it could be very powerful in terms of helping us with drug development, biological mechanisms. I mean, just what was I hearing the other day, that just in a single synaptic button, there are 500 different proteins, or maybe they said 5,000 different proteins, many of which we don't know what they're doing right now. That's where AI will have great benefit in terms of working those sort of things out. Emily, you don't get calls like that, do you?
No. About AI, no. I don't get about our 5G, no. It's mostly about how do I get my partner to blank and toxic relationships.
And what do you tell them on how do you get them?
Anal, like Anthony. I mean, honestly, it's most people, Drew, are not comfortable talking about sex.
Yes, that's true.
It's still something that, it's shrouded in mystery. We had terrible sex education. People are learning through porn. And so we've never even heard anyone talk to us about sex. So how do I say to my partner what I want in the bedroom? And so it's not a one-time conversation. It's more about a general, let's be great lovers to each other. Let's figure out what that means for us.
Yeah, it seems weird to me that people are bashful about talking about what they like. I think they fear they're going to be seen as impaired or weird or something if they just merely speak up. Yeah, that's kind of weird to me.
Well, there's a few reasons. The one thing is that they feel shameful. They feel wrong. They grew up in an environment where it wasn't okay to talk about sex. And the other thing is that a lot of people don't know what they want.
Right.
I'm telling you,
you're right.
There's a lot of vulva owners, women, who have never explored. They think that masturbation is wrong. They feel like maybe they'll be judged by a partner if they show up knowing what they like. And so it's more performative sex. They're more about pleasing their partners than they are about pleasing themselves. And they've never been given a healthy forum to say, this is what I'm into. So that's why I'm all about exploration and education and talking about it. That's literally what I 24/7. I mean, and my listeners are all ages, Drew, because the sex education hasn't changed since we were in school. So
right. Is it mostly women that are having difficulty communicating this stuff, or are men equally as prone?
Women, they have different issues, challenges. But I think that for men, it's more like, there's certain anal, or there's certain things that they want that they're not getting. And for women, I would say it's more so they've never even been given a place where they felt safe and comfortable talking about it, and they've never explored on their own.
And women have more diversity of interest too, right?
I think we all crave variety after a while. I think we all crave variety. I don't think it's just about genders. I think that we want to feel connected to a partner, but we also want spontaneity, variety, something different. And so I think we all have varied interests. I just think it depends person to person, not gender.
Mm-hmm.
Susan, any questions for Emily?
The dogs are barking.
That's okay. They can hear it in the background. That's fine.
Well, you know what I find interesting is like people are afraid to talk about their sexual preferences, but just Emily has such a good ability to also work as a therapist. Like
yes.
she's very thoughtful, and
yeah.
It's not just all about sex, but it's it's a big part of our lives. It's important.
Well, no, but Emily, you've educated yourself about interpersonal phenomena because it's been so much a part of what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and sex can be funny. It can be fun. It can be, I don't know. It gets your endorphins going. It makes you feel better. I mean, who doesn't want to have that?
Well, healthy sex is part of our overall well-being, and if you're not enjoying your sex life, you're not enjoying your body, you're not taking advantage of that, you're not shame around it, then it's going to impact your mental health. It's going to impact everything else in your life, which is why it's encourage people to remove the roadblocks, whatever's been holding you back from being sexually healthy, and figure it out, research.
I mean, men are more open than women, like you said. Like I was always like, I might have wanted it, but I didn't want to be the aggressor, and Drew would have loved that. But as I got older, I realized, maybe this would be better if I would just put it out there more often.
Well, and I think the testosterone helped you do that.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, my hormones were all screwed up. But I think until my mom died, I was always kind of afraid. Like my sexuality kind of blossomed when she passed away, maybe because I felt she just put so many things in my head, like, you have to behave a certain way. But I think women are not as open to things that, maybe...
Well, it's sort of this. Emily brought it up. You're trying to sort of make the partner happy, but you're also fearful of being judged by the partner. And trust me, the guy is happy because you're there, and all you got to do is be there, and he will be good.
Touch it.
Yeah, whatever goes along with that on your side, fine. That's sort of the way men operate.
Yeah, men are horny all the time. That's the way they are.
Have people gotten deeper into porn in the COVID days?
I think that people are definitely watching more porn right now than ever before, because what else are we going to do? That's what I said the day we were all in lockdown. Like, everyone's going to be home watching porn or masturbating.
Yeah. Thank God for porn.
I'm not worried about the escalation of porn, and I'm worried for people who use it as education. People who grew up with an iPad in their hand, they certainly have seen porn before they have ever seen real sex, and are assuming that that's sort of a blueprint for how we should actually have sex. And since there's no other really smart education around, and people have to seek out sex ed, they're just sort of either they're not wanting to have sex with humans, or it's impacting their ability to be aroused and turned on with another person.
Let's take a call from North Carolina. What's your name?
Hey, I'm Justin.
Hey, Justin, what's going on?
How are you, Dr. Drew?
I'm all right.
Quick question. My mother has had a really persistent cough for probably the past 6 or 7 months. It's pretty bad there for about a month. She took steroids, got over it, and now it's just kind of lingering. It's really bad, like first thing in the morning, and then right when she first lays down at night. And I'm just curious if that could be just a lingering symptom of COVID.
Did she have COVID?
Never.
Did she have COVID?
Well, not sure.
Well,
she was never tested.
It's technically a chronic cough, and chronic coughs. There's a whole long differential on chronic cough, and there's also a sort of an extensive workup that has to be done to see what's going on here. It includes blood tests and X-rays and CAT scans and sputum studies and pulmonary function tests. I mean, all that's got to be done to see what this is. It can just be old. Did she smoke?
No, she used to. Okay, but she hasn't smoked in probably 30 years.
Right, so it could be leftover COPD from the smoking years. It can be so many different things, but it really is important that it should get it evaluated because it can be cancers and things hiding. And you know, chronic cough is a real deal. Yeah, there is a chronic cough after COVID, but and again, we think it's going to resolve. 6 months would be an extraordinary a long time, but I'm sure somebody's experiencing that. But I would not just off the top, you know, immediately toss it off as COVID, and or I wouldn't toss it off as anything until you've had the workup and you kind of know what you're dealing with. Let me try.
Casey Gates said he'll be screening for us next time.
Okay. This is a Canada call. Who's this?
Hi, Dr. Drew. This is Mark from Canada.
Hey, Mark. What's happening?
Hey, I've got a question for both of you today. I was a long-time listener, first-time caller, by the way. I've been listening to you, Drew, since the 90s.
Wow.
It's been a lot of fun.
And here we are.
I'm a 35-year-old, and I got bit by a tick a few years ago, and Canada's medical system isn't quite up to par with the American system.
Yep.
So I've been diagnosed with post-Lyme disease syndrome and chronic Epstein-Barr virus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a good treatment for that. My doctor prescribed a cyclovir, which seems to be more for herpes due to my Google research.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I could talk to my doctor about that might help with that?
I mean, you know, there are people that specialize in chronic Lyme, and they have all kinds of treatments that they use, including, long course of IV antibiotics. And if you truly have, and by the way, you know, you might have neurological involvement. People who are complaining of the stuff you're complaining of will typically get a lumbar puncture, a spinal tap, and see what's going on and see if there's, and to sort of toss it off as Epstein-Barr, that's kind of weird. I mean, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, really not thought of any longer as being Epstein-Barr related, unless you had, much like the way COVID is, you had a mononucleosis and you just never got well. That we think of as chronic Epstein-Barr now, but the other syndromes of chronic fatigue have so many other causes, and you got to kind of zero in on the cause and come up with a treatment model. It sounds like you're not getting much of anything on either the evaluation front or the treatment front. So, I know that about the Canadian system. If you have a sore throat, it's the greatest thing in the world. But if you have a difficult to diagnose problem, I hear nothing but complaints that just you can't get through it. You can't get to see a specialist, but you should see a rheumatologist. Well, I don't know what an infectious disease specialist is what you should be saying, and talk. You know, there is no doubt there is such a thing as chronic Lyme. But that needs to be formally diagnosed.
Wow.
So, and yeah, then people are maybe more sympathetic to that now in the day of COVID when everyone's getting all these chronic symptoms after an acute viral illness.
But you get bit by a tick and that's it. It's like, oh my God.
It can be, yeah. I mean,
crazy.
Yeah, Lyme disease is no fooling. I mean, it's in New England. It's out, mostly on the eastern seaboard in New England, but certainly would be in Canada.
I remember
too.
a girl who was in Amherst. She got bit by a tick they would take them out on a hike the first week of school.
Yep.
She got bit by a tick and her mom had to move to Amherst and take care of her for like 6 months.
Took her 6 months, and she got over it completely, but it took her like 6 months.
But she couldn't leave. She was so sick. And Amherst is not where you want to be stuck in a hospital.
I think she was also trying to keep going in school a little bit. That's one of the reasons she was there. Yeah, it's not fun. Chronic illness is not fun. Let's be fair.
She was young and 19 years old and.
So are you getting any callers, Emily, that talk about their libido after COVID?
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
There's a lot of low libido calls. A lot of people are struggling right now because if you have anxiety, you have stress, you have worry, nobody's in the mood for sex. Nobody's feeling sexy.
Isn't that interesting? That does not surprise me. That's very interesting.
It's really low libido. I mean, people are just, they're like, yeah, my partner, not either whether they're with a partner or not. Even people who were dating are like, I don't even have the energy anymore. I'm depressed. I'm not motivated. And that is going to be.
Look what we've done to this country. It's just you know what I mean? It's people's life force is being sucked out of them.
I want a prediction though, Emily. What's going to happen after this is over? Is everybody just going to go out and sleep with everybody?
We are starting a decade of hedonism, is my prediction, and I think we're going to go more towards, our own pleasures and what we want, and probably more sex toys and more chocolate and more alcohol we were going to talk about. But hopefully in moderation. I'd love to see us prioritizing our own
I'm eating
pleasure,
chocolate
our
right now.
care,
Prioritize what? Prioritizing what? I'm sorry, I missed that.
self-pleasure, our self-care. I think that there's been a lot of talk about self-care. And I think that with having so many things taken away so dramatically and all everyone experiencing so much loss, that what's the flip side of that? The flip side of it is I want to do things that make me feel good. So we might be embarking on a, hedonism of a decade of hedonism. I mean, look what happened after the 1918 flu. We had the 1920s, right? It was the Roaring Twenties. We might be seeing that again. That's my prediction, and I've also seen that not just from what I'm thinking, but the interest in sex, the interest in people buying toys and listening to my show, or the more products there are, the more sex therapists there are. I mean, it really, Drew, there was no one talking about it before you.
Yeah.
And when I started, there was a few people doing it, and now I just think that people want to know what they don't know. They're curious, and I think that we're going to see more of that. I hope so.
I agree with you. I do. I can tell you my own sense is I want to feel well again, and I want to be able to live again, and I want to be able to travel again. I want to do stuff.
We're going to go on a swingers cruise, Drew. Come on.
I'm in. Hey, I just got invited to one. You guys?
Can you? Yeah, I'll go with you. Come on, let's go, Drew. So Monica wants to know what's behind you.
The boob pillow. It's a vulva puppet. See? No, it's a vulva. This is the exterior part of the vagina.
Good eye, Monica. Yeah.
Outer labia.
Yeah, that looks familiar. Drew, does that look familiar?
Educate people.
I'm sorry.
You don't know what it is.
I understand. But my wife's questioning is what I'm reacting to, not your vulva puppet. It's that I do practice medicine. You understand that, right? Okay.
I'm not saying who doesn't know. I'm showing.
I know, but my wife seemed to think that it's be surprising to me.
Oh, from what I know from you, Susan, everything's good.
I like to tease him.
I know. So.
Does it talk? Somebody asked if it talks.
I have another one over there. It doesn't talk, but that's not a bad one. What would it say? It would say.
Pull a string.
Say, no, my time for me.
There you
go. You guys, I am running out of steam. This is my. Unfortunately, I just can only go for so long, and then
he gets an hour into it. He just poops out.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, and it's very upsetting to me. But that's the way I am now. And
we're gonna have you back.
What's that, Emily?
Be back soon, doing how you are. Just be patient with yourself.
Yeah, Anthony's still on the stream here worrying about butt plugs. We didn't answer his questions, evidently, Emily.
Put in butt plug or put in anal, and we have 15 years of information for you.
Right, exactly. All right,
maybe butt plugs will cure COVID one day.
The fundamental message is that we need human interaction. We need to be back in the flesh. Zoom is only going so far, but the Zoom layer has been nice because people are doing more self-assessment. But in spite of all that, we are still depressed. We are still lonely. We are still having low libido because we have sort of hopelessness. It's hopelessness, I think, that's done this to us. We don't know what the government has taken over our lives and is just crushing us. And the lack of libido and the calls you get about low libido, to me, is just an example of that. The calls I get are depression and anxiety and all the mental health consequences. But it's all about hopelessness, and it's all about disconnect, and it's all about inability to meaningfully go out there. So
join Locals, and you can come have a chat with Casey Gates in the group. They're a fun group. There's no judging there and no censorship on Locals. And join Locals and support our show at drdrew.com/locals.
Yeah, Casey will be there with his bartending.
These are our friends. And then he's going to start screening calls. I just want to take calls today. I don't know. I just thought it would be a good idea. We had some good calls.
Yeah, we had some interesting stuff. It seems to go very, very medical very fast. So.
Yeah, well, it always is. But I don't know why. Usually they have a thing on there where they can ask their question. I guess I didn't click the right thing, so that they were all blind calls. But there were no Crazy ones, thank God. And I think there's somebody still on there, but I'm sorry we can't get to all your calls today.
I just can't deal
He's
right now.
He's pooping out.
Monica, we did discuss the new PCR protocols. I think and many states are following and using the less. Jesus, my brain really is bad today. Fewer.
You need food.
I can't think of the word when they help me, and Andrew or Monica.
Fewer regulations, fewer.
No, it's about the passes, the PCR.
They're saying they're not valid, or what?
No, they're reducing the number of. I can't remember the word. Okay, I have to look it up now. They when you do a PCR, amplifications. They're going through a different number of passes, a different number of amplifications. In this country, we do like 35 cycles. Yeah, just plain old.
What
cycles.
does that
Thank
mean?
You.
Passes.
It's cycles that they cycle they amplify the DNA 35 times, and when the RNA. When you do that, you're going to pick up just pieces of RNA, not necessarily viable virus. So if you dial it down to say 20 cycles, it's going to be a much more accurate test. So we'll see.
So like the rapid test will be good.
That's the PCRs exclusively we're talking about, and remember that when we were talking about case demics and there were too many cases and people were very focused on the cases. The high level of PCR cycling was adding to the number of cases without necessarily detecting accurately the number of infections. Okay, so it seemed like more cases, but it's been we sort of agreed we were going to do that we were going to have a more more false positives and less false negatives in doing so, and you can still see the trends in the virus nonetheless. And so, let me just quickly go back on today's trends and see if I can get where we are today.
Spike again, Drew, or what do you think about this?
What's that, Emily?
You have another spike of the virus?
I'd be surprised. I feel like we've had our surge and now it's going back down. I mean, it tends to be the pattern that these things follow. Here is now, they don't have the 21st up yet on the data. I'm just looking to see if they have the national data up to date.
On the project?
Yeah, COVID tracking. It's up a little bit, it looks like to me. No, 20 was up a little bit. Yesterday was up a little bit. So we'll see. Will it continue down or not? Is that spike up yesterday just an anomaly, or is it going to go back up again and just be a plateau? Dr. Fauci came out today and said he thought it was a plateau. The hospitalizations are going downward, but they're mostly plateaued. So it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell where we are. He calls it a plateau. I won't argue with him. I'd sure like to see it go down. And it feels like it's going down. As I said, LA County, Orange County, California data, at least on this state, it looks like it's heading downward. But
I just want to go out to eat.
I know.
I want to go out to eat.
I know. Will there be any restaurants
Newport
left?
Beach and Mission Viejo.
I'm coming back. I wish I could have come this weekend.
It was empty, though. Nobody was there. But the beaches were really full.
Really
Everybody
crowded
was
at
on
the
our
beach.
beach because it was a holiday weekend, and our neighbors were not happy. But I don't care. I like to see people out. I'm like, whatever, just enjoy your lives, Well,
that's what we're saying. Like, what do we do for connection? Even nature. I mean, if you're not talking to people, you have to get outside. You have to get outside of your house. You have to, be with others. And if you can't, like, things that make you feel good. So when I'm saying pleasure, it could be going for hikes, going for walks, calling someone on the phone, especially when you think it's getting hard. We all know when we're slipping. So just kind of put in your schedule. I'm going to call this person today. I'm going to go outside for an hour. I'm going to do something.
That happened to Jordan. He was like really depressed, like started freaking out and went, what am I going to do with my life? I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm so depressed. And he almost started crying. And then I said, well, why don't you call our family friends? Since you've already had COVID, you can go visit our friends.
Right.
And he went, oh. And then the next day he was fine. He's going to drive to, where is he driving to? To
Austin and New Orleans, and going to go visit people.
Yeah, he's going to go
move about.
Yeah, he's going to get in his car and drive around. And
that's how you feel in the moment, right? When you're suffering from something, you got to just push, right? There's always the other side of it. So the next day he felt better, but in that moment he felt despair. So that's why it's important to have your people.
I know. We need you around too to keep giving us those butt
it
plugs.
also it also seems like with the new administration, there's sort of less political uptightness about that. You can actually have conversations about things. People are being rational again. It's very weird.
Right.
It's such a strange thing.
For sure.
No, this has been so hard for everybody.
All right, I'm out of steam. Emily, it's great to see you. Sorry I'm not
So uplifting.
energetic and my normal self, as I say.
I'm sending love.
Thank you, and I expect to be well in about a week or so. But I said that last week too. But I am better.
You are.
But
I got Chinese food.
I saw that, and
whoops, I didn't mean to do that.
You'll be back. The more you
oh.
go.
Here's something. Tulsi Gabbard on Joe Rogan said that even after you're vaccinated, you can still pass the virus. That is the concern people have. That's why they're asking people to keep wearing masks. It has not actually been proven one way or the other. I don't know of any other infectious disease ever that you could pass after you have fully vaccinated with a 95% efficacy, but maybe. So that's why people still wear masks. I will continue to wear masks in spite of massive immunity that I have. I have immunity against at least 6 different viral proteins, not just the spike protein, which is what the vaccine gives you.
Use your Halidine.
Yeah, use the Halidine, reduce the risk with these nasal swabs and throat spray, so that it gets the virus out of there before it gets a chance to get into you. And UVC light, IWANS. I'm a big UVC light advocate.
And then you can get your Addict score and see if you have the antibodies.
Is that what that is? Mm-hmm. Yeah. People have been asking me about the Addict score. That's what I'm doing I'm doing another one next week, and I'm going to monitor my immunity. Somebody earlier in the thread was saying we don't know. There was some pulmonologist was saying we don't know about this. There are people that are studying it and have some ideas about it. I'm going to monitor my immunogenicity to this thing. It's a little tougher to tell you the cellular immunity, but there are some mechanisms for doing that as well. And,
it's just such a letdown.
And at the point at which I start to fade, that's when I will get the.
So if you get the vaccination, you still have to wear a mask too. Then.
That's what they're saying, because they haven't proven yet that it can't transmit. Maybe you could harbor it in your nose and thereby transmit it to somebody else.
It's so disappointing.
I've never seen a illness where people have taken that kind of a position, and I've never seen an illness that does that. But okay, if that's what we're going to do.
If you get sick, again, would it be as bad as the first time?
Kevin of Kevin and Bean had it after 9 months, and his second was worse than his first. So that gave me a little bit of religion. Because the idea of getting this again is just forget it. You just don't feel like you can survive it. So, all that said.
So uplifting. It's so good to see you, Emily. I mean, but everybody loves you. I thank you so much for doing this, and we're getting through the week.
If you ever need some pleasure on the show.
Well, you have to send her the Bluetooth stuff. She was very anxious to meet.
Apparently, she did. That little thing in the corner apparently is the Bluetoothy one.
Yes, I gave you a Bluetooth one.
I know. I was
right a month ago.
But I was hooking up to the wrong one. So
what's the app?
It's called WeConnect.
WeConnect.
So, sexwithemily.com/WeConnect.
No, that's the.
The app is called WeConnect. You have to make sure that your toy is turned on.
Drew's gonna go figure it out.
But I brought you a Kegel toy. I might have brought you a. I don't know. Just look at the toy. I think.
Is it WeConnect by WeVibe?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
I tried it. I couldn't get it to work, and I guess I was using. You gave me 3. Okay, you gave me 3 of them.
It's in my hand right now. If I sent you
I tried it with that. I had a hard time getting.
So I could connect to yours?
Yeah.
Emily's?
Yeah, I was telling you before. Yes.
Okay, here we go.
No.
Okay, Bluetooth.
Here we go. Oh God, jeez. Don't you have to turn it on? You have to push a button on it.
Not now. Connect toy.
I have to find the charger.
To find the toy.
The toy.
Invite them to connect by tapping the icon.
You have to tap on the little thing.
But I'm not going to be. You can't control mine, but I'm not.
This looks like
it's a 5G thing.
This looks like it'll just connect you to anybody. Like somebody who happens to have this.
Be a good time, but probably not.
No thanks.
That's because hedonism coming up. Everyone connects to everyone's Bluetooth.
Well,
where all your friends are connected, but now all your sex toys are connected.
We'll have a little homework afterwards and
All right.
test it out.
Here, you guys. FaceTime if you need to walk you through it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you all guys hanging out on the restream. Thank you those who called. We appreciate it. And tomorrow, are we doing something? Anything interesting?
Oh yeah, we have guests tomorrow too. Art Kleinschmidt and Katie Sullivan.
Which is great. Art Kleinschmidt had just stepped down as the assistant director of the ONDCP, and Katie Sullivan is a judge who was up in the Justice Department, and she's going to tell us what they're going to do next and what might be happening, what direction the administration is taking, and what went down on.
All she keeps emailing me is, well, maybe I shouldn't say it. We'll see what she says tomorrow.
She'll see what she tells us.
I have to be careful.
All right. Thanks, Emily. We'll talk soon.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
I love you.
Bye-bye. And thanks, everybody, for hanging out on the thread there on the restream. I have not really much else to talk about today in terms of one thing did come out today. The monoclonal antibodies are being pushed by the government, which is finally good. Although I recommended bamlanivimab to somebody today with moderate COVID, and his doctor told him he wasn't eligible. So I actually had to look up the, where is it? I hope I didn't lose it. Shoot, it seems like I threw it away now. I had the criteria and who was eligible for the Coram, there it is, monoclonal antibody. Let me just quickly tell you what the website says, and you tell me, Nivimab.
Hi, everyone.
Emily's still here.
I'm leaving. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye. I didn't know.
Oh, I didn't want to hang up on her.
I just want to read something here, which is the
okay
criteria for who can.
Maxi M Vibe said Emily is gorgeous. She is.
Oh, nice.
Bamlanivimab.
Okay, here we go.
That's what
Who
I
is
think.
eligible for bamlanivimab? This is from the website. To be eligible, patients must not be hospitalized, must test positive within 10 days of symptom onset, be at least 12 years of age, weigh 40 kilograms, and a high risk for progressing to severe COVID. I mean, who is at high risk for progressing is somebody who's sick, it seems to me, or somebody who's over the age of 60 for sure. Yeah. BMI, chronic conditions, age, not authorized for those who are hospitalized. Yeah, it's most people with moderate COVID. So I would think somebody who's not getting better is at high risk for progressing. So I don't know. I would make that case to try to get it. If the insurance companies don't cover it, I would still try to prescribe it for a patient with moderate to severe COVID who's in the outpatient setting. All right, everybody, thank you so much. And we'll be in tomorrow with Art Kleinschmidt from the ONDCP and his wife, Katie Sullivan, from the Justice Department, who are now off to the private sector. We'll see what they have to say about their experiences. I am so grateful for our friends at Blue Microphones. Not only have they completely changed what our show sounds like, they've given me headphones so I can monitor things better. This is the mic for millions of creative people, and now I know why. I'm so grateful for them completely changing the quality of our audio. You'll find Blue mics like Yeti and the Mouse, which we're using here, both in pro studios and home studios, literally all over the world. Their popular Yeti caster is a Blue Yeti microphone, plus a boom arm system that's behind many of your favorite podcasts. I run into them all the time, and now I know why. If you've ever thought about creating your own podcast or YouTube channel, Blue can make you sound and look great. Just visit bluemic.com and click Get Started, and you can start telling your story.